What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another amazing episode of Meet the Critters. Two in a row.
Yeah, we're getting there.
We're getting there. Listen, that one right there. And I'm sure you're all probably wondering what's going on. You guys are in different spots. Well, in honor of episode 69, me and Joe decided to switch positions. So there we are, folks. That joke is out of the way at the very beginning.
Might as well get it out of the way. Start fresh.
I couldn't focus on anything else until, like, as soon as I came on, like, behind the scenes, I was like, oh perfect. What's the longest streak? I don't know, when we did it consistently every single week.
Yeah.
Before we both got slammed.
Pretty much right before SRF, we had a pretty good streak going.
We had a real good streak going. And then I think SRF was the first one we dropped off. Because it was that Sunday, and that was the night I went and sat on the porch by myself for 45 minutes because I couldn't talk to another person.
Yep.
And we were like, I don't think we're doing the podcast. And we're like, we should. We're in person. And then we both looked at each other and we're like, absolutely not. I can't talk to a fucking person.
And then I got back, and I've been slammed ever since in the shop. It's been insane, and it's not getting any better anytime soon, the way it looks.
Yeah. Well, so that's the fun of fall.
Yep.
Dude, it all sucks.
Fall and deer season, and now all of a sudden we got the winter storm, and everybody's like, oh, winter really is here. We got to get all of our livestock gone that we don't want. Can you do them today?
Mm-hmm. And then, of course, everything that has been like lurching along, like it's been working, but like it's been all right. As soon as that cold weather hits and that snow starts flying, it's like, oh, everything breaks all at once. Nothing's run. Like, I've been absolutely swamped over here, and I am honestly not that crazy busy in the shop. Again, I think this will be the 18th deer I've done, the one that's coming Tuesday. So it's like I'm nowhere near your numbers. But, like, just running around like freaking crazy, bunch of pigs, like my own pigs. And then, like I said, I was not prepared. I was not prepared at all for snow. And my electric is just gone.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't prepared for snow at all because we've been so swamped at the shop. I didn't get anything set up in the barn for the pigs. Logan and I literally 2 nights ago, we're standing in there getting a game plan of what we were going to do. And for everybody that doesn't follow me on TikTok, also shout out to Lisa. She joined TikTok just to be my subscriber.
Mine as well.
She's trying to push me over that hump. I'm like 30 or 31 away from going live.
We got to get you there. We're so close.
But I don't get this. So
talk about SRF. Shout out to Sean, Off Grid Growing, in the comments. Good to have you in here, bud. Sean talked me off a ledge today. I was off some content ledge, and he just goes, "Here's my number. Call me." And we probably had a good 45-hour conversation about content and everything like that.
Yeah,
I appreciate you, Sean.
Yeah, it's been, I haven't hardly put anything out. I think if I was doing my at least the one video a day on TikTok, I would have been over that hump. But speaking of the going live, I came across the live. Lady Does Raw Milk. She has like 400 subscribers and she's doing lives.
I think you should check it again because there's like certain criteria you have to meet to do it. So I don't because there was another follower I have who has like 300 who was live. I'm like, I had to work for it.
Yeah, we should definitely check it again. Yeah, they're making me work for it always. YouTube's the same way.
Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, yesterday about lunchtime, Danae comes storming the shop, and I had it was me, my brother, Mike had just left, Logan, my other brother, and another guy that might possibly be coming on the team eventually when we can get to that point. She comes in, she's like, when's that pig due? I was like, yeah, for like a couple more weeks. She's like, I'm pretty sure there's piglets out there. Yeah, she's saying she did not come storming in. Yes, she did.
No, as soon as he said it, in my head I went, good verbiage. Like,
yeah,
that's accurate verbiage.
Her eyes were about this big. She's like, there's piglets outside. I'm like, now it's already all bundled up, so I was getting ready to go out and get the skid steer and start moving some deer from the reefer trailer in, because my reefer trailer battery died with cold weather. So all my deer in the reefer trailer froze.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh. For anyone who's watching this, unless you're a processor, you like that was as I was in it, I'm like, that's a visceral reaction. That is a real visceral reaction, because I have been in that exact situation and I know the hell that you're going through because of it.
And so I jumped in the car, went over there, and I'm like, hell, there's piglets in there. And she's in there with the other sow and the boar cell in a full round bale of hay. She's got a nest built.
Of course.
So I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do. I make like a makeshift hot box really quick, because all my stuff from last year is not set up. Get that set up. And, well, I was starting to set it up, and I'm like, I need to get those piglets out of there now, because I could, like, the boar's in there laying down, and I'm worried about them getting crushed. Not that the pigs are aggressive, but it's freaking less than 20 degrees out, and you got 3 pigs piled in. Yeah. So everybody's trying to pile underneath there. And so I grabbed a bucket of feed. I grabbed the tote, and I had Danae go in the goat pen. We fed them so they were out of the way. And I was like, I'm just going to hop in there and start grabbing piglets. And she was grabbing them through the cattle panel fence, the ones she could reach. And we got 9 total out of there. I was like, all right, I don't see any more. I'm flipping through. I mean, this is a whole friggin' round bale of hay.
Yeah.
So I thought I got them all. And I was like, let's get them under heat lamps, get them warmed up. And we got them underneath the heat lamps. I said, all right, I got to go back to work tonight. When I get done, I'll try to get done at a decent time, deal with the situation. So I get over there after we got done. I think it was 8. I didn't even leave the shop last night until almost 9 o'clock. I still had to deal with pigs. So Logan came over and helped, and we built that heat box, put a cover on it, got it all stabilized with the heat lamps, and freaking get them all in there. And we're trying to coax the mom inside with feed. Of course, all of them want feed.
Right.
So I got both sows in the barn. The boar's out in the pasture eating. And we're going, trying to get the sows separated. And I'm standing there. I'm like, did you just hear that? And Logan's like, yeah. I was like, I'm like cussing. I'm like, there's more piglets out there. At least one. So I run around. I jumped in the pen, dug around, found a really nice blue gilt piglet, really sturdy. Get her in the heat box. I'm like, all right, cool. It was nice and warm underneath where they were, because like that composting effect.
Right.
And then we're standing there trying to wait for the sows to finish their feed so we could sort them out and get the one back outside until we can get another pen built. Here's another one out there freaking out. So we ended up with 11 total, 6 gilts, and 5 boars, and I think I lost 2. I'm not sure which 2. I did a quick count tonight, but I'm pretty sure that little tiny one that we found last didn't make it. And yeah, I was like, I'm not taking another one in the house to try to do another bottle piglet, because it's tough. You know, the kids get attached. Not that they haven't seen it. It just, you put all that time and effort into something like that, and 2 or 3 weeks down the road, they seem like they're doing great. And what happened with our last bottle piglet. Right. So, but the other 9 are doing great. One had a dislocated hip and got it back in on its own. Good. So I tried messing with it last night. So they're all looking great, looking healthy. And then Logan's like, I really hate to be a bearer of bad news, but I'm pretty sure Lady, our Jersey milk cow, is laying out there dead. This was a couple hours after I found out about the piglet. So I go up there, and yeah, she's laying there, froze right up. I don't know what happened to her. The night before, I noticed she was off. I took grain out to feed them, and she wouldn't come for grain. So I went up and I checked her ears and stuff, and she seemed fine other than not wanting to eat, which was weird because usually she's the first. Both those two milk cows are the first ones right there.
It's Jersey.
Yeah, but she's been fine I've had that cow for 3 years, and she throws beautiful calves. So now we're down to the 3 cows here and our 4 feeders down at the neighbors. That's all I got left.
Well, so it's not a bad thing. I mean, it
sucks, but
it sucks that she's gone because, again, good producing cow, good calves, also extra milk for all the other calves. Like,
yep,
it's like a sole dairy cow is a good thing to have in a beef operation for that sort of thing. It's awful she's gone, but it also does free up more resources and like.
I was excited just carrying 4 cows through the winter because the neighbor, we're buying a bag of grain a week, and he's refusing to take money for the rest of the feed, which is corn silage and really nice quality hay. So I got to find a way to sneak some cash around that farm somewhere where he can find it down the road and not think twice about it.
Exactly.
That's a nice thing about having good neighbors, like you were talking with your well and everything.
Right.
Grateful for the neighbors I have. So without good neighbors, a lot of this stuff wouldn't be possible. You run into issues and you can kind of fall back on people. So
yeah, which the well is going in this week. It is finally getting trenched into the house.
Awesome.
This cold weather added a new factor. Like it's been tough, but we're getting it done. We're getting it figured out. They got caught in another job, so it was one of those things where it's like, all right, well, you're helping us out more than you can possibly know. I can't say too much.
Yep.
Just persevere through.
But now it's getting cold and pumping water's got to be a pain in the rear.
Sure is. So I did that today. Had to throw the kids in because it's, again, when I do chores, usually I can leave the kids inside with some snacks and it's fine.
Yeah.
The new well is at the very back of the property in a hole. Like, I'm not leaving a 5-year-old and 2-year-old in the house by myself for that long because, again, 100 gallons is probably going to take me 20 minutes to 25 minutes to pump all of that. And it's like, I'm not going to leave them that far for that long, which I don't know. But so I have them strapped. The youngest is asleep for most of it, which I'm like, perfect. But I have them strapped in the truck because it's 28 degrees out, and I'm pumping water out of a well to do all the animals with. So it sucks for them. And it's like today I had to run, I think I ran 300 feet of extension cords for water heaters. Because again, I've got the feeders are in the back pasture. I don't remember if I talked about it last week, but we moved Red in with the sows. And he's already tagged Fiona. I caught them the other day, wrote that down. But haven't seen any action with Tally yet. She's still being a bitch. So I don't think she's ready yet. But I moved the feeders out into the back pasture because I was like, they were starting to tear the hell out of the paddock they were in, which was again the in-between, so it was super small. So they were starting to tear that up. So I'm like, go out into the big paddock and roam around, and hopefully it'll distract you from the fence. And again, my electric has not been great anyway. Our ground is so freaking dry that like I have 4 ground rods on that, and I was still getting barely anything. So then as soon as the snow hit, they just started walking through everything. They've torn up every electric fence gate is broken on both the sows and the feeders. Like, so now even if we got enough moisture in the ground to like have it really like pick up, everything is disconnected or grounded on itself. And it's like,
yeah.
I was looking at it today. And I'm like, I'm going to have to redo literally everything. Like I'm going to have to tear everything out and redo it all. And it's like, that's awful. That's one of those moments where you like can't even really be mad. You're just like, I decided to do this and own pigs and have all this fun and put all the work into this, and they fucked it up. And now I have to do it all over again or get rid of pigs. And I'm not getting rid of pigs. So
yeah,
here we go.
Fun times. Yeah, we're in discussion of ramping up our pig production this year.
Of course you are.
Yeah, I mean, other stuff's kind of
you have a good
pull
setup
it back.
for it, and now you got the help with Logan there. That it's worth it. It's absolutely worth it.
And we're discussing which route we're going to go for next year's farrowing setup. I'd like to have that done by fall of next year. A different barn, something. That's going to be one of my goals for next year is getting a better setup because we're going to keep the 2 sows we currently have, and I want to keep at least 2 gilts out of these litters this year for breeding. And Bill from Crooked Row Farms that we had on,
yep,
we got to have him. He is going to be saving me a either pure Hereford or a Hereford cross boar out of his stuff. And he's got some gorgeous piglets right now. I mean, they're tanks. He came to our customer appreciation and stuff, and he was telling me about them, and he sent me a bunch of pictures, so I'm super excited. He also said that he would come back on the show sometime because he's got a bunch of new stuff going on.
Absolutely.
So,
anytime.
Yep. We'll have to get it. I've been so busy that I haven't even had time to even think about setting up the gas on my end.
Exactly. I'm in the same boat. Like literally the weekend comes and it's like, oh yeah, I have a podcast. Like, with everything else that's going on, it's just all of a sudden it's just like, crap, I do this every week.
Yep.
But it's even when it is just us, we never don't have anything to talk about. I feel like we are somewhat repetitive with some things, but again, we have people like Lisa, Jeremiah, good to have you in, and like everyone who listens that does want the updates on what's going on around here. But that we always have something to talk about. I put 3 of those feeders in. I had people that were getting those. Dude, I'm pumped. I'm pumped with how this batch is coming out.
So the feeders that you had left over from after the small ones?
Yes.
Nice. Well, where they hang at?
They were still kind of small. Like they were the ones on the smaller side of it. Essentially, all of Fiona's piglets are in the freezer. I only have Tallies left. And the biggest one hung at I think it was 118.
Yeah.
At 6 months, which, I mean, the last batch, I did Nino at 6 months, and he was 90 pounds. And that was an intact boar. So they're going in February, at the end of February, regardless of size. But these ones are double the size of the ones I put in. They are freaking, I was looking at one today, and I was like, you're a freaking tank.
Last night before I passed out, I came across one of your TikToks, and they look really good.
They look.
You almost wouldn't even know that they're not crossed with anything else. They look Hereford.
Which this is going to be an interesting litter for Fiona at least, because, and I mean it'll be interesting for both of them because again genetics are fucking weird. Like they're technically related. I think they're like Tally's her aunt or something. Like they come from the same
lineage. Yeah.
So it was super interesting that Tally's piglets, even the ones we lost, some of the ones we lost were the biggest. Like we lost the biggest, and I think that had to do with the heat. Like it was just too stressful and that. But they were all tanks, and again, they're the only ones we have left because they're the ones that I like the build, and I really want to see how they finish. All these other ones, again, they looked good. Full fat cover on all of them. Only about an inch, not even an inch, probably about 3/4 of an inch fat cap on them.
Yep.
Really nice. Decent marbling already. So I'm like, okay, I think we're dialing it in. It's going to be a longer grow out. There's zero chance I'm going to get the best of, like, I'm going to get what I really want, which is like a 7-month grow out pig. It's not going to happen with the genetics I have. But
even if you cut it down to 9 or 10 months, it's better than where both of us were.
February will be 10. So I'm like, okay, we'll figure this out. And it's, again, I need to do the gestation calculator because it might affect when they go in because we should be expecting piglets also in February. So we'll see. But then that's our other project we need to get. I have 2 projects that need to get, well, one project that needs to get done yesterday, which is the winter paddock, which is nowhere near. I need to run full electric around that and build the new fence on the inside, because I'm doing hard panel on the inside. And it's, again, how awesome people are, like, to have a core group of people around you. I had a customer that I had to move to Wednesday because he couldn't get his pigs in the trailer and couldn't figure out how to do it. And he's like, we'll put it for Wednesday. Literally, as I'm on the phone with him, one of my really good customers and buddies up here calls while I'm on the phone with him, and I call him back. And I go, this wouldn't happen to be about pig issues, would it? And he goes, it is actually. He goes, are you having a day? I'm like, oh, buddy, you have no idea. So he bought the 5 feeders from me before, or from this batch. And he's like, when can I start bringing some of these in? I was like, you can start bringing them in whenever you like. I was like, how does Monday at 10 o'clock sound? And he goes, that's tomorrow. I go, yeah. He goes, perfect. I'll bring over 2. But so I'm interested to see how they look, because he did more of a confinement area, like just a smaller area, and pretty free feed. So I'm interested to see how they dress out and what they look like. But I was talking to him about what we're doing. He's like, well, what do you need for fence posts? I got the sawmill in the yard. Come over some night this week and we'll just mill everything you need. I'm like, I love you so much. Like, thank you. So yeah. And now, of course, the ground's starting to freeze. So I'm going to need a mini or a tractor or a backhoe to dig all the posts, which I wanted to do anyway, because I'm trenching everything. I'm literally just going to cut trees out back and just put them in between the fence posts, because I don't care anymore. If I'm not going to have electric, I'm going to make sure I build everything now for in case I don't have electric.
Yeah. Yeah. That's our biggest thing. Like right now, we're having the same issue with our electric. So.
Yeah. But he's farmed a bunch and he's run a shit ton of electric. So I was telling him about it. He's like, all right, well, we'll come over tomorrow and we'll take a walk around and maybe we'll do a couple late night and headlamps. And I'm like, yeah, more than likely that's what's gonna end up happening. But it's never a dull moment. Better? Can you hear me now?
Yeah. No, I thought I heard something outside. I wasn't sure if it was a pig or we've got 5. No, there's 4 beef and 6 hogs out there right now, and there should be another beef coming tomorrow and possibly another 14 pigs tomorrow.
Jesus Christ. Possibly another 14.
Well, they were all supposed to show up today.
Yeah.
And that was going to be like a 5 beef and 20 pig week. So I was trying to get through as many deer as possible, and then the reefer trailer went down, so now I have 50 deer still in the cooler, plus the beef that we've been slaughtering.
Oh.
We've got 4 beef for this week, 3 beef to cut next week, plus all the pigs to get through that we slaughter this week. So if they don't show up for some reason, I'll just squeeze them in somewhere else this month. But this month is booked right up again. I think next week we got 10 beef coming. The week after that's 8 beef. And then finally Christmas week, we start slowing down a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, my December is completely booked, and I got people already trying to get in for January, February. And I'm like, perfect, cool, keep me busy.
Yeah.
But and it's funny the difference in customers. And again, we have very different shops. But I mean, this happened while I was there with you, where it's just like the customer is bringing the 2 pigs tomorrow. I'm like, all right, can you be here for 10? He goes, it depends. Do they need to be breathing when I get there? Because that changes the time very, very quickly. I'm like, drop them and get them over here. It's like, you sure? And I'm like, I trust you. Like, I don't tell everyone that.
Yeah.
Like, because I know you. I know you're going to drop them immediately, and it's going to be, you're going to know what to do. If I told a random person that, I mean, again, I don't want to say random person because there are people that have done this like in the past on an amateur level or whatever. And it's like, yeah, they can figure it out. But I'm like, in those situations, I still want to be the one. So there's zero response. Like I have all the responsibility. Then nothing can come back on me unless something bad happens that I did. Like I don't know. I'm a little anal when it comes to that control of the situation. I want you to make sure, I want you to have no one. I don't want to be blamed for shit that you do.
Yeah.
And chalk it up to me not doing my job.
Yep. And we got on one of our farms, Lambo.
Yeah. Lambo, that's fantastic.
That's what we trademarked him as Lambo. And we wrote that on his boxes. He had a beef done up here and he laughed. He's probably one of my better customers, but he has 8 Idaho pasture pigs left over and his water lines are freezing and stuff. And he donated a pig to for us to do a raffles and stuff. So he's like, hey, can you get these in sooner than later? And I'm packed right full. So I was like, I could do them on a Saturday. Well, I don't have access to a truck right now because Josh's extra truck's in the shop. Mine's still down, and his truck is 2-wheel drive. So he can't get in there with the trailer. He's like, do you care if I just take care of them and bring them over? And I was like, there's 8 of them, so the faster you get them here, the better, so they're not all bloated and stiff.
Right.
But I don't mind doing it because I've witnessed him do clean shots on stuff while I was there. So, and not that we needed the more work, but he's one of our better customers at the moment, and I try to take care of them.
Exactly. It's like you wiggle for certain people because it's like, hey, you're here regardless. Like you are a good customer that is. I have a handful of customers. I have a customer that I deal with now that I do the low lines for, and I'm just like, whatever you need, I'll make it work because you're a constant. You're always here. Like I can push someone or like rearrange something for a rando who comes once a year or something like that. Like again, you're still a valued customer, but I'm going to value your you coming here first because you're making sure it happens.
I had a new customer today. They came in first time they've been here. Beautiful looking beef coming off the trailer. They are finished. We'll put it that way. I'm going to guess that they will be between 850 and over 1,000 pound hang weights.
Jesus.
They're not super tall, but man, they are wide. They probably shoulder wise. They're Angus crosses, and they're fed a good ration, no hormones or anything like that. But he told me today they booked one for January already just because they were impressed by the facility, and they are planning next year. They're putting a barn up right now and finishing barn, and his goal is to get to finishing 300 head a year.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's a big operation.
That's crazy.
So I'm excited to see what they look like. They look really nice, and they weren't crazy. I mean, they're in a new place, so they were cautious, but they came right off the trailer, walked right up in the stall, closed them in. So we'll see how they are tomorrow when we go to push them in the facility.
They always change their tune a little.
Yeah, we definitely need to look into something now that it's snowing. It's coming off the roof and piling up right there. Right. So by the end of winter, I need to figure out a better setup for that alleyway between the barn and the building, and possibly some kind of hydraulic push gate. Because even with those guillotine gates, it stops them. But in this month alone, I've shot 3 beef out in the chute because they would not come in the facility. And we're doing enough volume right now with just Earl and I that I can't fight with a beef for 25 minutes to get it in the freaking door. We have too much going on that it's just wasting time at this point.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's not like if they showed signs of it out in the pens, I'd push them till last and dispatch them out in the pens and just be done with it. But they come right up the chute like it's nothing, but they get to that last part right there.
Yeah.
Yep, and they will not go in.
Yeah. I am so jealous of your setup, though.
Just wait until next time you come out when we get all the upgrades in.
Oh boy, fancy.
Yeah.
I know. I was talking to a customer today, someone who took one of the feeders, and they own the store in town that I go to every day to get my caffeine. And I was like, listen, if you ever want to like buy one of these for the store, I will get a USDA date. Like, I don't want to,
Yeah.
but I get it. Like, it might be a little more expensive just because I've got to figure out my prices when it comes to doing that. But I will put one or two through a USDA facility for you if you wanted to do that. She goes, oh, and she goes, all right, let's sit down and talk at some point. I'm like, okay. I'm like, it's a good thing, but it feels like it's bittersweet because it's like, yeah, I get it. I get what I have to do. I don't want to do it. I think it's stupid, but like, got to make it happen.
Yeah, we were just talking about that today because I think what is going to happen as soon as these sows wean their piglets, I'm going to boot them right back out with the boar this time and just short breed them back like the bigger farms do. That will put this sow should be having piglets by June if she's bred back on the first cycle.
Yeah.
And then try to give them a break because the new gilts I want to breed for farrowing early like these guys are. Depending on how the setup is, I'll give them a break through the fall, breed them later. So the new gilts will be farrowing first and these older sows will be farrowing second for later pigs. But by doing that, whatever doesn't sell, I'm going to keep them. Whatever I keep out of this batch will be ready to be butchered by July.
Right.
Because mine been finishing about 6-7 months, depending on how they look. Some of them been confinement. I've got 2 out in the barn right now that came out of that last litter. They're 7 months old. Interested to see what they look like. It's the runt of the litter and the biggest of the litter. The guy took one of each. So, yeah, it'll definitely be, yeah. And the runt is definitely smaller than the biggest one, but that big one looks really nice. So I'll get to see the size range at 7 months old and the finish on them. But so June, July, we should be processing our first batch. The second batch will be ready about February.
Right.
But we'll definitely be USDA by then. So if we don't sell some of those, I'll just buy a couple extra freezers and sell individual cuts.
Yeah.
Especially if we're not set up at the shop to do it. I'll do it from the farm and put the income on the farm because I need it for the tax exemption anyway.
Exactly.
I don't know if it's like that in every state, but in the way we have in New York State, we have to claim $10,000 or $12,000 of income for 2 years in a row before we can get the tax exemption on our property for ag.
Right.
You have to have so many acres and be in some kind of ag production, equine. It could be commercial greenhouse, anything like that, but you have to be making money off of it. So I have to claim that I made, it's either 10 or 12,000. I can't remember the exact number, but I got to get better at claiming all my expenses. But with that, all my fuel, everything I buy for the farm, if I keep track of all that, I'm pretty much almost even it out by the end of the year.
Right.
Realistically, the only fuel I use right now, 90% of the fuel when I leave here, it's either for the butcher shop or it's for the farm.
Right.
Very little because we use Danae's vehicle for all the running around for the family stuff.
Yeah. You're living my dream. I just don't want to do the work to go USDA and do all that fun stuff. But it's like, yeah, no, that's that. I'm so freaking proud of you. Again, we've known each other for what, a year and a half now?
Yeah, we're probably going on 2 years.
Probably going on 2 years now.
Yeah.
And it's like to see all of it just freaking come together. I'm like, fuck
yeah,
dude, that is awesome.
I very rarely do I have a moment to actually like step back and then it hits me because I'm so busy all the time right now. But once we go USDA, we're probably going to hire a couple more people on and go from there too, because we've got enough work lined up and work coming in I could honestly put another 2 fully trained staff members to work full time.
Right.
It's insane how far we've grown so fast.
Right. No, it's freaking awesome. But yeah. Winter pig. This first batch of winter piglets is going to be interesting for me. I've never done that.
Yeah.
So that should.
Are you going to pair them in that the pens that are closest to that building that you guys are converting?
That's the plan. But again, that's the other project that needs to get done now that snow's on the ground. I still haven't been in there. Like, I haven't been in there in weeks because I haven't had a spare second to do anything. But yeah, the next chance I get, I need to get one of the little chainsaws going and literally just cut it between the rafters. I'm going to leave the rafters in until, or like the floor joists in until they put in the posts that they want to put in.
Yep.
To like help support everything. But yeah, that still needs to get leveled out and that water line run, which again, like probably should be done sooner rather than later just because of the ground's freezing quick.
Yep.
And, yeah.
Is that something that can be dug in while you're digging the line down to the house?
It's on the complete opposite side of the house. So
gotcha.
If we wanted to buy another couple 100 feet of tubing, we could run a separate line up in. But again, the building's still not remodeled yet, and the hydrant is going inside of the building.
Yeah, which is an awesome idea.
Oh, I'm so excited. I just stand there and look at it.
I'm jealous of that. Just having like functional water out where the animals are. Like, even the way you're set up in the barn is way nicer than what we're doing right now.
Yeah, we're freaking trying. But again, it's like you have those moments where it's like you're not even mad or angry or pissed off. Like, there was a moment where I was just standing out in the driveway smoking a cigarette, looking at 300 feet of extension cords spidered across the property that I now have to remember to pick up every time it snows so I don't plow into all of them. And like just snow and like pigs like brushing themselves against fences like out in the distance. And I'm just like, I'm holding it together. Barely, but I'm holding it together. I'm controlling the chaos right now. But it's like just that as soon as winter starts. And it's like every year, we had our first snowstorm on Thanksgiving. So I plow for the town, and it was like, it wasn't start. At first it was going to start at 1 a.m. and then it got moved to like 9. And then day of it's raining. Like, there's not even snow on the ground. It's just like kind of that in between. And my boss or my neighbor who I plow for was just like, well, we're looking at like 1 o'clock, but it's like none of the roads. We've had rain the past 5 days before that. All the dirt roads that I plow are all they're mushed. So it's like, he's like, you need at least 4 inches on there before I send you out. So it's like my wife, again, it's Thanksgiving. It's like, well, let's just go to your aunt's. Aunt's is an hour and a half away. And I'm like, okay, call him. He's like, yeah, that's fine. Just jump back in the truck when you get home. It's like, perfect. So I'm like, all right, we head out. We pull out of the driveway and it just starts pounding snow. And we get about 10 minutes from the house. And my wife's like, we can turn back around right now. And I promise I won't be mad at you. But if you're an asshole at Thanksgiving because you're worried about plowing, I am going to be pissed off at you. Like, just go. We'll be fine. And then 10 minutes later, we like almost slid off the road because we were in her car.
Yeah.
She goes, oh, yeah, I forgot I don't have my winter tires on yet. Which then I'm just like, okay, just go. I'm not like. So then hour and 20-minute trip took almost an hour 45. And it snowed the entire time we were there. And she went to get in the driver's seat. I'm like, no, I am not a good passenger in a snowstorm.
Yeah.
Like, I like to think I'm pretty good driving in the snow. Like, I do it a lot. And now, especially plowing, like I do it a lot more. It's like, I am not good with it. Every slip, everything. I'm like, awful. I hate it.
Yep. I hate those drives. And it's like, everybody shut up, be quiet, let me focus. Especially when you get that heavy snow that's just coming like sideways and your headlights, you can't see nothing.
Like, everyone shut up.
Yep.
Your life depends on you being silent. Which again, for a 5-year-old, the 2-year-old, and a 36-year-old is kind of tough. But, no, and it was again, it took 2 hours to get home. And it's like, I was fine. Like, I was confident the whole time. We had a couple like little slips and stuff like that. But again, just getting behind the people from Massachusetts that are up from the holidays, and they're gunning it. We were behind this minivan. I was laughing pretty hard. My wife wasn't too happy with me. There's like a little bypass road, and it's just a hill. Like, there's no flat part on it. It is a hill at this angle. And it would have take another 15, 20 minutes to go around and like get on the same road. And I'm looking at it as I'm driving past. I'm like, it doesn't look that bad. And I turn. My wife's like, "You're an idiot." I'm like, "Probably." Like, and we start going up this hill. We're cruising. Like, people had been going down, or people had been going up it. They closed it off at the top for people pulling in, because if you tried to go down that, you'd be dead 100% of the time. And we're good. I'm doing good, chugging along. And then there's just this friggin' Chevy Equinox that's just like, it's going, but it's like creeping sideways. And I literally, like, I forget my wife and kid are in the car. And I just went, "Bitch, you better get out of the way or I'm going around you." Like, because I had momentum and I wasn't losing it. And they made it. But then we're behind them for the next 40 minutes on the drive home. And it's like, they are they are just going everywhere. And finally it gets to a point where it's like, we're both going slow. And I'm not super close, but somewhat close. And I look and I'm like, "Oh." My wife goes, "What?" I'm like, "The wife's driving." And she goes, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "The husband is sitting in the back. The husband is sitting in the passenger seat, and his arm is now gripped around the driver's side headrest." I'm like, he is so, because I can see his arm through the back window, and I'm like, he's in hell right now. And he goes, my wife just goes, "Were you in hell on the way over?" I went, "Absolutely, I was in hell on the way over. I feel his pain, and I no longer hate them with all of my heart." Like, because it would get to a point where I'm just like, I'm so mad at them. Because I'm like, you're being dumb. Like, you're just, again, if you're not from the north and you don't drive in snow and you're not good at driving in snow, you don't understand where it's like, you're just looking at people. It's like, you're being dumb right now. Why are you accelerating? Why are you braking? Like, my wife was getting so mad because I was just sitting behind him going, "Feather, feather, feather, feather." Nope, just jacked it. That whole car would go sideways. Like, what are we doing? They pulled off, and all of a sudden I was going 15 miles an hour faster, and we made it home.
I did have to laugh on Friday because that's when we started getting our snow. Pretty heavy. I mean, it was coming down hard for most of the day. And the guy that's been doing the books and deposits and stuff, he goes, "I'm going to take this right now, just in case they close the bank down today. I can make sure it gets there." I'm like, looked at him, I said, "What are you talking about?" I look out the door, and you couldn't even see it out to the road from the front of the building. It's not that far away. I said, "They're not closing the bank down for weather." He goes, "What?" I said, "We don't do that kind of stuff here. This is how it is normally in the winter. We're not a bunch of pansies. We don't close shit down unless it's like straight 2 inches of ice coming down, or it's like really hazardous. Right. We might close school early to get the kids home safe. We might cancel school for a day, but businesses do not close down unless it's like Buffalo area and they get dropped 6 feet overnight and they can't actually physically get out of their homes and to work. They'll shut stuff down.
That's the only time that happens up here. If we get like 2 feet of snow, everything's shut down. Because it's like, then it's just a volume issue. Like, we're used to it, but it's the volume of snow. Like,
well, they're getting, I don't know how much they've got up that way right now. They always get more than we do, but
Right.
that one year, Buffalo literally got 6 feet of snow in one night.
I remember that. That was
It was nuts. And
I don't know what I would do. Because I immediately just thought, I'm like, it's 4 inches less snow than I am tall. So literally I wouldn't be able to see over it. And I still have livestock.
mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Now take that amount of snow and put it in a city where they have nowhere to put the snow.
Right. Well, then
they literally take payloaders and dump trucks up there to clear the city out. They have to haul it outside of the city and dump it in these big lots, just so it'll because they don't have nowhere to They can plow the roads and they can plow the sidewalks, but they have to scoop all that stuff up and literally remove it from the city.
That's wild.
And take it elsewhere. Yeah. So that's where they run into the big issue. Like when we get 6 foot of snow out here, we never have, but we might be down for a day or so to get it cleared, but you're just going to plow it to the side of the road and it's not going to hurt anything, or to the edge of your driveway. Right. We got enough room out here to handle that, but up there they don't. I want to say that they were calling for up to 14 plus inches by tomorrow up there, but I think they're over that already in some spots.
Right.
For the weekend. Yeah. I mean, we got hit pretty good, but most of it's packed down now and it's not that big of a deal. It's just cold at this point, and the driveway's getting icy. Someone slid out of the butcher shop driveway and my wife almost hit him on the way in.
That's fun.
Yeah. So I think I'm going to block that driveway off for the winter.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea. That is a hell of a hill.
65 to 80 by Erie inches. Dang.
Jesus. That's a lot. Yeah, and it's like, again, going out for the first time. Like last year was my first year plowing, really plowing, not just driveways. So it's like having to get back in the groove of that. And it's like, it was good. I remembered my whole route. It was pretty we got maybe 7 inches in some heavy spots, but at the house we got 5-6 inches. So it wasn't awful, but it was still 5 hours. I didn't get home until past 10. And it was all right, that's fine. But again, just getting back into shit. I walked in the house. I was in overalls and a t-shirt, my hat backwards. And I'm on fire. Because it's again, the heat's cranked. You're in the truck for 5 hours with the heat cranked. I was my wife's are you not freezing? And I was for the last 2 hours, my driver's side window has been down, all the way down. Your truck gets freaking hot when you're plowing. Because again, it's blocking that airflow and everything, and you're just getting all that heat. But
did you get all your stuff fixed with your plow and everything? I know you had some. Did you get all the stuff fixed on your plow and your truck from last year?
Yes. It's hardwired in now. It's just in there year round. We couldn't figure out how to do it, and then it was oh, well, you can order this part that's a stupid amount of money. And then one of the guys on the crew used to sell those plows, and he's or snip, here you go. And it was oh, perfect, that's fine. So now I just have my plow control just in the hardwire here, so it's fine. It was giving me a little guff this time at the where the plow plugs into the truck. One of those was starting to get loose, so I need to go through and adjust some of that, because it would be I'd be in the middle, I'd be backing up to hit another spot, and it's my control's just blinking. I got no power, and I'm son of a bitch. So again, overalls and a t-shirt, it's 26 degrees, just freaking pulling snow out and trying to fuck with shit. It's plowing is an interesting beast. I don't know if I love it or hate it. I don't think you can kind of like it. I think it really is a love or hate thing.
I was really hoping to invest in a truck with a plow and a sander this year.
Yeah.
Because the driveways.
Oh, you have
tripled in size.
Yeah.
From last year.
Well, with the business, the business you guys are doing, you guys could justify buying one and writing it off on your taxes as Like, we're not going to pay someone basically the payment of this truck.
Well, last year, just for the small driveway, we're out by the barn, that little spot in that, it was $125 to have someone come in and plow that and sand it every time.
Yeah.
You get slammed with snow 7 days a week, and you're running a business, you got to keep it cleaned out.
Yeah.
That's all your profits for the week.
And he comes, if it's a decent storm and he comes 3 or 4 times a storm, yeah, that adds up. That gets expensive. Yeah. But yeah, again, there's the part of it where it's like, oh, I'm just in the truck listening to a podcast, ripping butts, just no one's talking to me. Now that's great. But then it's like, oh no, I'm doing this in the mountains of Effingham on dirt roads where it's just like, I was so pissed. I was listening to Mike Rowe on Joe Rogan, and I was like, hell yeah. And then right before I left the house, I saw the new Protect Our Parks was out, and that's Shane Gillis, Ari Shaffir, Mark Norman, and all that. It's like, hell yeah, I'll listen to that. Finished Mike Rowe. I'm like, that was a good episode. And I've still got a couple hours out here. Fantastic. Click. Loading. And I'm like, I am on the ass end of a mountain on a 1-lane dirt road. You've got to be kidding me. And I had to jump back and forth from different podcasts. Every 100 yards, I would be like, come on, please. I still got 3 hours in the truck. But yeah, it's never a dull moment.
Yeah. Oh, we had a pretty big Monday last week too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we did 35 turkeys for.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Who was it for?
We did those. Katie.
Yeah.
And
we need to get her.
Then we also. Yeah, I have that. I can ask her, see if she's interested. I don't know what she's got going on, but that'd be a cool one. I mean, she's got a ton of information.
Oh yeah.
But what else did we do? We had 3 beef and 2 hogs, and then Earl and I turned around and we had like almost 20 deer laying there. I was like, we can't take any more. I said we were here until 8:30, 9 o'clock on Monday. Tuesday, everybody left at 10:30. I was out here till 12:30-ish. Tuesday or Wednesday morning, technically.
Yeah.
And I was back over here at 6 a.m. Wednesday, we worked a little bit later trying to get stuff done. Obviously, Thursday was Thanksgiving, so I made everybody stay home.
Right. And
Friday, we did pigs. Worked a little bit late, and then it was Oper for PA, so Jill and Earl stayed home. And then today we were going to do a pig slaughter, but nobody showed up till late. So I told them don't even bother because it was going to be like 5 o'clock before we even started killing.
Right.
So it just didn't make sense.
No.
So we're probably going to be right now. We could do what we have out there tomorrow. So right now, tomorrow will be okay if we just do what we have.
Right.
If those other 14 pigs show up, we'll be finishing slaughter on Tuesday.
Yeah.
But if we have 20 pigs to cut this week, that's going to put us behind on deer again.
Right.
Like I said, we got 45 or 50 deer in the cooler still, somewhere around there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm so glad I'm done. I'm so glad I'm done taking in deer. They're just not worth it. They're not worth it for me. As a solo cutter, they're not worth it.
Yeah, you really got it. Well, you guys just don't have the deer population up there either.
Don't have deer population for it.
If you were by yourself and you could, how many deer do you think you could fit in your cooler?
Probably about 12.
So if you took 12 in, say you took 12 in, you cut half of those, you took 6 in, cut half of those, and you stayed on a steady pace like that for 2 weeks, you'd be fucking beat like we are, but then that would be more worth it. you'd make a decent amount of money all at once.
Where it's like, again, this is going to be my 18th deer. But I'm like, yeah, not worth it. I'm putting in those late nights and stuff like that. And then I'm doing the receipts and going, I can do this in a day and a half of the beef, even like a small beef.
Yeah. And that's what we're looking at. It's like, okay, like I enjoy doing the deer. It's tiring as shit, but do we set a limit on it? Do we, because it's different when I'm sucking up the hours because I'm not taking extra money for the hours. Same for you. You own your business.
Right.
Really, it's not, you're not getting overtime or anything for it.
But when you got employees.
And they're getting overtime for being here, an extra 20 plus. Yeah. Literally, 20, 40, 60 hours of overtime last week for them. That's not including, I had over 100 hours last week, or this week, including this weekend. Probably, I think I was just over 120 hours a week before.
Right.
So is it really worth putting that many man hours in for?
And again, you nailed it. It's like, it's fun. I only cut deer because I like doing it. Like, it's fun. It's a fun break from the monotony of livestock.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, it's like, one, I don't think financially, again, on my scale, it's worth it. Like, I will still do deer for 2 weeks. I don't enjoy it. Like, but it's exhausting. Like, for whatever reason, doing deer is fucking like, because you're running through them. Again, like, you can do for whatever reason, you can do like, for me, I can do like 6 or 7 lambs in a day, and it's fine.
Yep.
Like, I'll run through it. Something about doing, like, for me, I can do like 3 or 4 deer, but again, I'm also skinning, cutting, and packing, and grinding. I'm doing it all. So it's like, once you do that with 3 or 4, and it's like, what I'll do is I'll do 3 or 4 one day, save all the grind, do 2 or 3 the next day, and then grind everything. And it's again, then just doing that grind is a pain in the ass because it's now I have 6 or 7 deers worth of sausage or grind. Everybody wants something different. Some people get minimums. Some people want 60 pounds of sausage. Like, and it's just,
that's what we ran into this year. Logistically trying to figure out in it because we're cutting deer as they're doing sausage. So now, okay, we do all the plane up until what we have for that deer that's on the table.
Right.
And then they switch over to doing the breakfast and the maple and then the Polish and mild and the hot and all that. And then it's like 3 more deer in, we got plain again. So now
you got to wash
you're right back. Yeah, you got to tear everything apart and scrape it out and rinse it to go back to plain. So
like, I'm not defending the people that mix deer. I still don't think that's right. I don't think you should do it. It sucks. I'm here saying it sucks, but it makes sense why the big places that are doing thousands of deer.
Yeah, if we ever get into doing cooked products for people, I would have to. Because to keep it individually, it literally makes no sense for us. The hours that we're...
That is the difference doing cooked products. I don't have an issue with that. That makes complete sense. Like, at that point, there's not a big difference. And absolutely, so you were right. As soon as my daughters are old enough, they will absolutely be free labor, whether they want to or not. I got one that wants to and one that doesn't, so it's gonna be fun.
Same. But even like with that, I mean, just the extra help too that you're paying under. Like, my brothers are helping me that aren't on the books, and Logan's put in a crap load of hours here at the butcher shop the last couple of weeks.
Right.
A crap. I got to figure out the overtime because he's getting paid up to the 40 right now. So I got to figure out what is owed to him too, because that's not even on the payroll. And then we had another guy in here from my business partner that was helping too.
Yeah.
So it's just like, is having that many people on staff working that many hours logistically worth doing that?
Right.
Now, what put us in a big pinch this year is we also been running livestock at the same time. So taking a whole day of doing our livestock or 3 days doing livestock during the weeks really hindered what we could do. I think we could have been easily at 400 deer right now and been able to handle that number if we had zero livestock in the facility.
Right. Which again, and that's where it gets hard and that's where it gets annoying. But that's why we do it. And it's, again, like, I think there would be people that would probably be upset because, again, I know your quality. So I'm sure you're putting out fantastic quality that people are going to be like, oh, hell yeah. Like,
yeah, I'm getting calls daily still. Hey, you guys got room for more deer? I'm like, I'm literally filling hooks as fast as I can clear them. And I was like, I apologize. They're like, man, we keep hearing great things. We really want to try you out. And I'm like, call back in a couple days. I can't make promises. Like,
right.
Literally, I filled up. I have just enough. Well, I don't even have enough hooks right now in the facility to do the slaughter if those other pigs show up tomorrow. They have to clear enough hooks tomorrow cutting deer to get the rest of the pigs if they show up on the rail.
That's nuts.
That's what's happened to us the last 2 weeks in a row.
Awesome though. That's so awesome. But it's also like,
it's stressful is what it is. Because I'm like, logistically, I'm so getting slammed with all this stuff all at once, and then I'm like, oh crap, I need hooks for beef and pork this week. I need hooks for this. How many hooks do we got left to, because I know I've got this many deer coming tomorrow that it's already called, and it's insane. The coolers right now, the dry age cooler is 5 feet away from being completely full with venison and beef. That big cooler.
Yeah.
And if those other pigs show up tomorrow, the pull down cooler will be also full. Like, it's awesome seeing it like that, but when I don't have enough staff members here to get it done in an 8-hour day, it's like
it is such a mixed bag of emotions. Because you're right. You walk in and you're like, this is freaking awesome. And then a quarter of a second later, you're like, oh God, we have to get through all of this. Mm-hmm. This is impossible. Like, we live in
it's holiday season too. So like I made it to 2 of our dinners, but today I just couldn't because it was Logan, Josh, and I today. Logan was hammering out all because we had grind left over from the last couple of days of doing venison.
Right.
So Logan got us all completely caught up on all the venison. Josh and I cut for a little while. I had to move all of the deer that were in the reefer trailer over here, so that took a little over an hour of my time just using the skid steer, pulling deer in, getting them on the rail. Right. And then I skinned 8, and there's still 2 more froze ones out on the slaughter floor they're froze, so I can't skin them. Gotta love those frozen icicle deer.
They're awful. They're absolutely awful.
Luckily, we got a salamander heater that I turned at like 45 and just leave it. And when they get thawed, they get thawed. That's where I'm at with it right now.
Yeah.
So
it's
been. What else happened last week?
I do just have to say, and it's something, again, I've been friends with you for almost 2 years now. You say it's been a lot. Like, that's your when I say so. Like, Canadian Farm Stand points out all the time. I say so constantly. In my head, every time you say it's been, my brain goes, 1 week since you looked at me. Every single goddamn time. It kills me. So I feel like, I don't know how you haven't called me on it. I feel like every time you say it, I smirk. Like,
no.
Yeah, that's just
that's
just my inner battles with my brain.
Yeah. My brain's so fried, I only have like so many words I can comprehend and keep in there.
Well, I've been listening to there's a podcast I'm going to be going on next month. So I've been listening to a lot more of them. And it's the So New England podcast for anyone who wants to go check them out. They're pretty good. They're in Rhode Island. They have creators from all over New England and stuff like that. So it's content heavy. Like, it's a very content-heavy show where they talk about content and how they break it down and, like, all that stuff. And it's like, there's one thing that keeps coming across where it's like, there's a handful of people that have, like, jobs as well. But, like, the past couple I listened to, it's like, they're just doing content, which is awesome. But it's like, because I genuinely try to take the advice of the people that are on there of like, oh, I should start doing this, or maybe I should try that. And it's like one of the things that like these people don't have. It's like where I have to like, I look at content and then I go, I also, once again, own a butcher shop and a farm and 2 kids and life. And it's like doing all of this content stuff as well is like trying to hit that groove is interesting. Yep. I just completely derailed the end of that one. Well, we are up over an hour. Joseph, where can everyone find you?
I don't want to say every week. Here with Kyle. I mean,
we're here on YouTube. We're here on YouTube occasionally. Whenever we fucking
feel like it. But YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook, Blake's Acres.
Fantastic. And everybody, you can find me everywhere at Backwoods Butcher 603. That is TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram, even though it's Wasteland that I ever post on. Just follow me over there. Why not? If I can start getting more followers, maybe I'll post over there. But everybody, we love you. Thank you for being here, and we will see you next time.
See you guys.